We finally found out what Big Show's favorite pudding is. Not putting any effort into his matches. Hello, my fellow marks, and welcome to the WrestleMania sign. My name's Martin. Look at the adjective. Martin. Last week on Star Trek Cena Space 9, Norton Antivirus came out to the jubilation of the crowd. In a rare instance of continuity, the announcers remind us that something truly awful happened to Orton last year. He agreed to star in the new Condemned film, a movie series that shamelessly rips off Battle Royale. Booker T reminds us of Randy Orton's prestigious lineage.
His dad's name was the Mechanic, Bob Orton Jr., and he's no different. He is the Viper.
That's right, Booker. Randy, the Viper, is no different from his father, the Mechanic. Which reminds me, I need to get my car's oil changed, so I'd better be careful not to startle any of the mechanics, because they might bite me and inject lethal venom into my bloodstream. That would be very awkward. Mitchell Cole tells us to use the hashtag Orton on Raw to celebrate Randy's return, and then Randy informs us that he's not here to bore us with a 20-minute promo, he's here to bore us with a 20-minute wrestling match. The Authority comes out to address Randy's concerns, and JBL is very excited to see them.
Look at the size of those giants.
Yes. Look at them. They're huge. What an impressive pair. I can't imagine what it must be like to grapple with them. Those enormous monsters. I just want to motorboat them. Big Show and Kane, I mean. I want to ride a motorboat with them. They seem like they'd be fun to hang out with. Stephanie tries to appeal to the Mechanical Viper, but as we all know, Randy Orton is an uncaring, unfeeling, and unacting robot who doesn't respond to anything resembling an emotion. The Big Show rolls diplomacy and tells Randy that joining the Authority was the best personal decision that he's ever made, which isn't saying much, since the second best personal decision he ever made was to star in Adam Sandler's The Waterboy. Stephanie insists that they can resolve this like professionals, and then goes backstage to incite a tweet war with the entire women's division. Booker T points out that Randy has always walked to the beat of his own drum, causing JBL to respond,
If you want to be a drummer, you better be part of the Authority.
Other examples of people that have benefited from joining the Authority are Keith Moon, Neil Peart, and Animal from the Muppets. R-Truth is on commentary, and he's trying to break Booker T's record for the most nonsensical sentence produced by a human being.
You defeated Barrett in a non-title matchup this past Thursday night on Smackdown.
Yes, I did, and I did it without being a Steve.
Good to hear, Mr. Truth. Being a Steve is against the rules of professional wrestling. That's why wrestlers like Steve Austin, Steve Corino, and Stevie Ray would just be disqualified as soon as they entered the ring. R2-D2 asks everyone at home to help him get an Intercontinental title shot by using the hashtag #GiveTruthAChance, a reference to a popular John Lennon song from the 60s that became the anthem for people who opposed the Vietnam War. Much like Vietnam, R-Truth having the Intercontinental title would be pointless and deeply regretted by everyone who experienced it. Oh right, there's one of those wrestling matches happening. Bad News Barrett is laying a beatdown on the running joke of the WWE, Dolph Ziggler, leading to some thrilling commentary.
Barrett opening up a can.
I think he opened up a keg just now.
He's calling his people.
Ziggler pins Barrett, and then Dean Ambrose comes down to the ring with one of those kids' toy versions of the WWE title, dangling it in front of Bad News Barrett, who gets very angry with him because that was on his Christmas list and his mum never got him one. Did you know that for the past 5 consecutive weeks, Raw has been a pile of shit? Backstage, the Authority offers to let bygones be bygones, so long as Randy Orton offers to service their vehicles for free, because that's what Vipers do apparently. Orton shakes Seth Rollins' hand, and it's very hard to tell if they actually trust each other or not, because of their shit acting, not because of any drama or tension or anything. The audience is expected to care about the reunion of the primetime players. They're facing off against the Chode Warriors, so be sure to use the hashtag Ascension on Raw to discuss this match. The primetime players get the upset victory, meaning that it upset anybody who expected the Ascension to be treated like a legitimate threat. This is the Ascension's first loss ever, which if you were to ask Booker T, means that they are now 1-1. The Ascension Attention Channel Super Kami Guru. The Rock tweeted lyrics from In the Air Tonight, a song famous for having an intense drum solo. Thank God Phil Collins joined the authority, or he would have just stared at the drums with a confused look on his face. A lifelike Roman Reigns action figure with authentic mild smugness comes down to the ring and brags about going through 29 other men during the Royal Rumble match, even though he entered more than halfway through and eliminated less than 10 other people. Hell, Roman, why not just include entrants from previous Royal Rumbles? Clearly just being in the Royal Rumble means you have wrestled anybody who was ever in it. So officially, Roman Reigns went through 899 other men to win the Royal Rumble. In fact, right now, Roman Reigns is taking on everybody on the WWE roster because he is in a building that they are also in. Talk about 1 versus R. Daniel Bryan arrives and threatens to say something remotely interesting, and then the announcers discuss his failed attempt to main event WrestleMania.
Whether or not Daniel Bryan even appears at WrestleMania, guys, is in serious doubt.
Cinderella turned into a pumpkin.
That's right, JBL. Cinderella turned into a pumpkin, much like the other classic fairy tale, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, where Snow White turned into an apple, or The Princess and the Frog, where the story was turned into a shit movie. Daniel Bryan performs fellatio on Roman Reigns, and then Paul Heyman comes out to tell Roman that he's cooler than Buzz Lightyear and Bart Simpson put together.
Roman Reigns versus Bruno Sammartino in 1975. My money is on Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns versus Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant in 1987. My money is on Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns versus Godzilla? My money's on Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns versus Predator? My money's on Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns versus Capcom? My money's on Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns versus the world? My money's on Roman Reigns. Paul describes Roman as being the right guy in the right place at the wrong time, which also happens to be the plot synopsis for Quantum Leap. And then the crowd chants what after everything Roman says, because they love him so much they want him to repeat his entire promo. The WWE Network is 1 year old, which also happens to be the average age of John Cena's fan base. The Sabutios take on Alex Kidd and Bizarro, and we learn that tonight, Raw is sponsored by Sonic's 25 flavors of shakes, including such flavors as guilt, fruit maybe, and ass. Natalya interferes in the match, resulting in a disqualification, which gets Michael Cole quite riled.
Nonetheless, if I'm the Usos, I'm upset and I protest that because Natalya got involved.
Yes, the Usos should definitely protest this decision because Natalya interfered, even though that is the precise reason for the decision. I would also like to protest the theory of gravitation, because I fell down one time. Vince McMahon's Muscle and Fitness article manages to be slightly less emasculating than China's issue of Playboy. Speaking of emasculation, The Miz announces his plans to enter the second annual Andre the Giant Memorial Clusterfuck, the winner of which gets to reenact Andre's typical post-match celebration of getting so drunk that they forget they even participated in the first place. I'm just kidding, of course. That was actually Andre's pre-match ritual. Bray Wyatt proves that he means business by triple dog daring the Undertaker to face him at Sports Entertainment Mania. Cody Rhodes comes down to the ring and is announced as being from the Fifth Dimension, known for their popular hit, Let the Stardust In. He faces bootleg Kurt Angle knockoff, Jack Swagger. Swagger tweeted at Stardust before the match, saying that a man without a family is like a man without a country, though I'm fairly certain that both of those things are preferable to being a man without charisma or a unique personality. Either way, we'd better start deporting all the orphans, because apparently they might as well not have a country. Goldust comes out from the back and trains for a lumberjack match by doing fuck all. And Stardust is so distracted by a wrestler that people actually care about that he loses to Swagger. He's the son of God, he performs unlikely miracles, and his initials are JC. That's right, I'm talking about John Cena. He comes down to the ring with the announcers describing him as being the most polarizing superstar in WWE history, because one half of the crowd thinks he's shit, while the other half of the crowd just thinks he's really shit. Cena recalls his defeat at the hands of Rusev.
I found myself stuck in the Acolyte.
What were you doing inside Bradshaw? Con Cena John cedes that he lost the match, but he takes task with the way Rusev went about doing it, calling him a coward. But in Rusev's defense, he went through the whole match without being a Steve. That would have been reprehensible. Rusev and Lana come out and announce that they've been receiving lots of praise from a tyrannical hostile force who believe that they can do no wrong wrong and that they are superior to everybody else. The internet. Also, Vladimir Putin. Rusev demands that Cena admit that Russia is better than America, and that Sega is better than Nintendo, and Joel is better than Mike. But Cena refuses. Instead, he demands a rematch at WrestleMania, which causes the Russian representative from Bulgaria to scoff.
What makes you think you deserve because you're the great John Cena?
Rusev calls John Cena a quieter and denies his rematch at WrestleMania. John Cena experiences a critical error and must reboot his hard drive before responding to anything that Rusev has said. Randy Orton converses with Seth Rollins on a river, and tells him that while he is quite miffed at Seth's attempts to cripple him, he's willing to put aside their differences and work together as a team. This may seem confusing to you until you realize that Randy Orton has the moral compass of a slice of cheese on toast. Heavenly Angel Page descends from on high, and then teenage boys everywhere curse their television sets as we cut from this to this. We are then shown a video package detailing the meandering career of the vigilante Sting, a man who went from being a 1950s housewife who just saw a mouse in the kitchen to being a shitty Crow cosplayer. Paul Heyman claims that Sting can say more with a look than most wrestlers can say with a 10-minute interview. Ironically, Paul Heyman's client Brock Lesnar can say less with a 10-minute interview than most wrestlers can say with a look. Oh right, there was a women's wrestling match happening. In all the excitement of looking at baseball coaches and looking at video packages of wrestlers from 20 years ago, we forgot about it. Paige and Emma are teaming up against the Bella Twins, and wouldn't you know it, I need to take a piss, so here I go and... Oh, it finished already. That didn't even last a minute. That's ridiculous. Also, I still need to take a piss, but I don't want to miss anything, so... Excuse me, do you mind if I borrow that bottle for a minute? Yes, I'll give it right back when I'm done with it, okay. Here we go. The Kiwi Chuckle Brothers are being inducted into the Hall of Fame, a very dignified tag team that were known for licking children's faces on the way to the ring. Voted Worst Tag Team of the Year in 1992 and 1994 by the Wrestling Observer newsletter, one has to wonder what they did to deserve being immortalized. Wait, that's right. They electrocuted Lord Alfred Hayes. Bravo, bushwhackers. America salutes you. Curtis Axel comes out wearing an Axelmania shirt because he's a huge fan of Organization 13. He claims to have been in the Royal Rumble match for 29 days, which would make it the longest running pay-per-view ever if it weren't for WrestleMania 4, which lasted 7.5 months. Curtis Axel also enters himself into the Andre the Giant Memorial train wreck, which is very appropriate because Andre would also take 29 days to finish matches. Then out comes Ryback and announces that he too is in the Andre the Giant Memorial mid-card match, raising the stakes even lower. Ryback mains as Villager.
Why doesn't the big guy take the Axeman to Smashville?
Then Ryback disassembles Curtis Axel like a highly trained Viper mechanic. Before the Raw main event, we get yet another video package featuring the star of one of the most laugh-inducing shows on TV, Seth Rollins. Also Jon Stewart. Stewart makes light of the fact that he would be ineffective in a wrestling match.
160 pounds of wood. Like a softwood, like a pine, like a balsa, still splinters,
During Roman Reigns' entrance, Booker T makes reference to the Raw a few weeks ago that was cancelled due to a blizzard, calling it Snowgate. Michael Cole takes this hilarious joke and runs with it, and calls Daniel Bryan's entrance Goatgate. You see, it's funny, because Watergate was the name of a famous political scandal, and none of the things they're talking about are anything to do with politics or scandals. So, you can see how the joke doesn't apply. Daniel Bryan Gate and Roman Reigns Gate take on Randy Orton Gate and Seth Rollins Gate, while Big Show Gate stands outside the ring and delivers extremely loud and obnoxious commentary. It's almost as though Jerry Lawler Gate never even left Raw Gate. During the commercial break, the WWE app shows us exclusive footage of the Authority beating down Roman Reigns. And now I just really want an app for my phone that displays constant footage of people kicking the piss out of Roman Reigns. It'd be bigger than Angry Birds. this. Daniel Bryan gets the painful ouchie move on Seth Rollins, but the Authority breaks it up. Meanwhile, the announcers discuss things that happened a fucking hour ago.
John Cena wanted a yes from Rusev. He got a resounding no.
Yeah, well, which means no WrestleMania.
I cannot imagine that. I mean, no WrestleMania, no John Cena. You gotta be kidding me.
Yes, without John Cena on the card, there surely cannot be a WrestleMania, which is why WrestleManias 1 through 19 ceased to exist as soon as John Cena signed with the WWE. Roman Reigns gets the tepid tag from Daniel Bryan and then cocks his fist and proceeds to gun down everybody in the ring in a panicky hail of bullets. Oh no, wait, it's not actually a gun, it's his fucking hand. So he has no reason to cock it at all, but he does anyway because he's fucking daft and his finisher is wank. Seth Rollins tags himself in during Randy Orton's extremely natural and not at all convoluted DDT off the second rope spot, causing Randy to briefly consider expressing an emotion, but then he thinks better of it and goes right back to what he was doing. Daniel Bryan pins Seth Rollins, and then a Divas match breaks out, causing us to lose the TV feed. When we return, Randy Orton is confronting Seth Rollins, but instead of attacking him, he gives him a reassuring pat on the shoulder, which for Randy Orton is the most character development he's gotten in a decade. Before Raw goes off the air, Michael Cole strips naked and reveals a tattoo of the WWE Network logo on his taint. Weirdly enough, this is still the most subtle plug for the network that they've produced since it launched. Smacking on to Move Down, we learn that tonight's main event is a rematch of the six-man tag from the Fastlane pay-per-view. My God, I can't believe they're giving this match away for free, when really, they should be paying us to watch it. I mean, charging us to watch it. That's what I meant, because it's such a great match. Yes. Daniel Bryan comes out at the top of the show and is about to announce his plans for Cena Mania when Bad News Barrett rudely interrupts him.
This is worse than being interrupted by Kanye West.
I don't know about that, Jerry. It doesn't really seem to be much of a comparison there. I mean, Bad News Barrett is an arrogant twat who thinks that the entire world revolves around him, whereas Kanye West... Okay, you have a point. Bad News Barrett tells Daniel Bryan that he won't be getting a WrestleMania moment this year, and neither will Dean Ambrose. In fact, nobody will, because John Cena isn't wrestling on the pay-per-view yet, so they may as well call the whole thing off. Actually, we should just cancel wrestling altogether, because John Cena isn't on the TV right now, so it's all meaningless. Dean Ambrose shows up carrying a comically large Naruto headband, and then gets into an altercation with Bad News Barrett and Daniel Bryan, which is great, because it means that the WWE creative team have pushed Dean Ambrose and Bad News Barrett into the main event picture. Or they've pulled Daniel Bryan down to the mid-card, which can't be right because that would be ridiculous. The Miz takes on Dean Ambrose, and Michael Cole explains that Dean wants to bring prestige back to the Intercontinental title by stealing it and using it in a silly and elaborate game of Pass the Parcel. Byron Saxton complains that Dean is pretending to be the champion, which doesn't make any sense because obviously Dean isn't pretending to be the champion when he's walking around carrying such a fake-looking belt. Bad News Barrett retrieves the prestigious title belt, which is being tossed from guy to guy like Tammy Lynn Sitch in the middle of a coke binge. And then Renee Young smiles and nods at Barrett, who proclaims that he will never lose the title again, unless he takes it onto a United flight, in which case it's likely to end up in Venezuela. Adobe Premiere is in the ring, accompanied by the Vince Russos, and she's taking on Natalya. Michael Cole reminds us that on Total Divas, Natalya and Naomi used to be best friends. Well, of course we knew that, Michael Cole. Who doesn't know that? You act like we don't watch Total Divas all the time. I'm offended that you felt the need to remind me. I'll have you know that I have an encyclopedic knowledge of the events that take place on Total Divas. Next you'll be accusing me of not knowing what happens on Legends House. The ball's on you, Michael Cole. Natalya wins in less than 3 minutes, which in Divas match terms might as well be an Iron Man match. Fuck you, Michael Cole, I watch Total Divas! Uncle Bulgaria and Ranma are on their way to the ring, and then Vince McMahon becomes the first human being alive who can suck their own dick without outside help. Rusev holds aloft the US title and announces that it's the only singles belt worth wrestling for right now, since the WWE title has been missing for the last 6 months, and the Intercontinental title is about as real as fucking Narnia. Lana says she's going to discuss something more important than John Cena, which means she could be about to discuss literally anything. Pancakes, the Hangover trilogy, Switzerland, wiffle balls, actual wrestling matches, a small Irish bloke named Greg, the latest episode of Total Divas, all things far more important than John Cena. Turns out they got an email from Vladimir Putin, who apparently watches the WWE religiously, which would explain why he went totally insane. The email is written in Russian, of course, but fortunately, I have an audio transcript of the translation.
Oh, Fort Lottie-Dottie, you got to feel it in your body. Come on now, feel the power!
That's our Putin. A reskin of Kurt Angle's character model interrupts the proceedings and announces that his t-shirt design isn't a piece of shit, no matter how much it looks like one. He brawls with Rusev, but is quickly overpowered, leading Jerry Lawler to describe the action in vivid detail.
Clubbing blow to the back of the Russian head.
It's like I'm there. Also, while the rest of his body is from Bulgaria, apparently his head is from Russia. Must have had some sort of elaborate transplant operation. Rusev puts Jack Swagger in the Acolyte, and then removes him from Farouk's ass and puts him in the Accolade instead, working on his American back with his Russian arms. Referees run out and try to stop Rusev, but none of them know the Bulgarian for no, don't do that. So it keeps happening. Bad News Barrett takes on badly handled Daniel Bryan, and R-Truth is on commentary, speaking his native language of gibberish. Daniel kicks Barrett in the back of his British head with his American leg, and then R-Truth invokes the Hardcore title's 24/7 rule and wins it from Barrett. Oh wait, that's not the Hardcore title. That actually existed at one point. This, I don't know what it is. Daniel Bryan puts Wade Barrett in the dinosaur vagina, but the announcers are too distracted by R-Truth referring to Byron Saxton as former WWE personality coach to pay attention to any wrestling-related things. I understand R-Truth's confusion, as I often mistake Michael Cole for Todd Pettengill and Jerry Lawler for someone halfway tolerable. It's been 1 year since Slam City was inflicted upon the world, and we're still recovering from it. Byron Saxton, or is it Coach? Interviews a Roman Reigns bobblehead. Byron asks how Roman is training to face Balrog Lesnar, and Roman replies with his trademark wit.
I haven't taken a cruise in quite some time, maybe, a few months, so possibly get back on the boat, have a tropical drink, I don't know.
Roman wants to beat the shit out of Super Mario.
I hope when we're in that ring, I hope he's bouncing around.
Backstage, R-Truth bumps into Dean Ambrose and throws the Intercontinental title at him as if it means nothing, which only serves to make it even more prestigious. Fandango reenacts a scene from Fight Club.
Fandango one-on-one with Fandango here tonight.
And Mizdow is filming a TV commercial in the WWE locker room instead of a television studio, because that wouldn't make any sense. The Miz points out that he would be much better in the commercial, as he has had plenty of experience wrestling on Smackdown, which is little more than a glorified commercial for Raw. Adam roars. While Goldust is wrestling, Jerry Lawler comments on his brother's mental stability.
If Stardust truly believes that he's really Stardust, then he needs some help, psychiatric help.
That's right, man who dresses as a king and gets off to women's wrestling matches on live TV. That Stardust has problems. Unlike Goldust, who apparently does not believe he is Goldust. After the match, Goldust is attacked by the main character from Little Big Planet, who is pissed off that nobody bought his game for the PS Vita. The Undertaker continues to be goaded by Bray Wyatt. And now it's time for the main event, which consists of a variation on a match that we've already seen 348 times. The Big Show is very proud of his robust moveset.
You got well spear from Roman Reigns.
Here's a wacky idea. Try learning more than one move. Although if it worked for Hulk Hogan, there's no reason it shouldn't work for you. The team of Ryback, Rowan and Ziggler finally overcome the odds and beat the Authority about a week after it would have mattered. So now they have all the heat of an Eskimo's nutsack.
Guys, you can feel it, can't you? I mean, we are on the road to WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania season, and it's WrestleMania fever.
Yes! Nothing says WrestleMania season quite like a meaningless rematch on Smackdown. And so ends the riveting drama of slap-happy half-naked men for another week. Tune in next week, where Dean Ambrose plans to further elevate the Intercontinental title's prestige by pissing on it in the middle of the ring. Until next time, my fellow marks, toodle pip.